Good morning and welcome to part 2 of Phil Dunphy. Please watch part 1 if you haven't. This is a 2v2 custom unmatched meta focusing on the decks that Raptor and I have made with a couple of decks, 2 decks made by other people. Alright, the card we're starting with today is a 2-value defense, Phil only, 2 copy, 1 boost. It's called Kid's Breakfast. Immediately, Phil must swap spaces with any friendly fighter. That fighter is now the defender. During combat, any friendly fighter may boost this card. After combat, if you won the combat, all friendly heroes draw 1 card. So, this card is great to just swap over to Luke, because Luke is not the best sidekick, but he's good for mix-ups, and he has a couple of cards later down the line. Boosting it is nice, so if it was a bait attack, you're not unhappy. And if you won the combat, then you and your teammate draw a card. Phil is good with teammates that are decent. So, this card is good for avoiding damage. So, like if Phil is low, swap to a fighter that has more health. Moving on. Ambush. It's an any 2-value attack, 1 boost, 1 copy. During combat, your opponent discards 1 random card. Add its boost value to this card's attack value. This is just like your average ambush.
I like the art on there with the mustache. I actually watched that episode yesterday. That's funny. Yeah, that's a good card for Luke to play.
Yes,
as
definitely.
a mix up. Yeah, it's definitely a Luke card. It's with like Bigfoot. You use like Jackalope. I almost said Jabberwocky. Use Jackalope to attack sometimes, like maybe like a skirmish or something. If
Or
you're
a
attacking with
momentous or something.
or momentous, just because you don't want to put your hero in harm's way.
Yeah. This is a good mix-up because Luke can play, of course, any of the any cards, so like Claire, Awesome Land. That's so cool. And then he has some fun, unique cards. A Realtor with Values is a 5-value attack card that's Phil only 2 copy, 3 boost value. After combat, you may move the opposing fighter to any space on the board, then place yourself adjacent to them. This kind of stops the opponent from like running away like a coward, and you can put them into a pin on a 5-value attack card, which is really good. And because it's a you may, if they're already in a pin, it's a 5-value attack card. This is Phil's highest attack value, unless you want to count ambush, but this is his highest printed, and you're not unhappy if it's canceled, because they're taking 3 over a feint. Or 2 if you're playing a stinky fighter with a 3-value cancel.
We always think this card is funny because it's a realtor, and then he's moving them. He's like showing them a house, and you always think it's funny when like Phil Dunphy's like showing Demogorgon a house. He's like, "Hey, Demogorgon, have you looked at this house? Let's go buy a house." And it's just so funny to me.
Yeah. All right. The next card is called Claire. It's 3-value versatile any with 1 boost value, and it's a 1 copy. During combat, you may increase this card's value by 1 if you discard 1 card from hand. So this card is worded a little funky. I should have reversed the way it's worded, but it's fine. So it's good to just turn into a magic 4 on defense. It can be good on offense, like if you're just trying to put on the pressure and you think your defense is satisfactory. It's a pretty solid card. It can be frustrating to be in a situation when it's like your only defense card and you don't have many cards in hand, because that does happen from time to time. Of course, you'll fix that in like 1 or 2 turns, because of your ability and card draw. The next card is called That's So Cool. It's a 1 copy, 2-value versatile. It's an any with a 3 boost value. After combat, shuffle 4 random cards from your discard pile back into your deck. That is a good effect.
It's coming pretty clutch. Like we have there's a Luke card that can be an 8 if your deck is empty, like Daredevil's 1 card. So we've had matches where Luke can attack with the 8, then we shuffle the 4 cards with That's So Cool, and it's like, and because you get that card right at the bottom, sometimes it's a 1 copy, but sometimes you just get lucky, and it's just so satisfying when you can like you run out of your deck, you attack with Luke, make it an 8, and then play That's So Cool, reshuffle your deck, and win the game. It's just so satisfying.
It's also pretty cool that it stops exhaustion, or it's like really good at counteracting his card draw, because it's 4 random cards. That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, sure they're random, but that's just to kind of prevent infinite deck cycling, because that's not fun. Next card, it's a 2-copy, 2-value versatile any with a 1 boost called Awesome Land. After combat, deal 1 damage to 1 fighter adjacent to the opposing fighter. If that fighter is yourself, recover 2 health on any other friendly fighter. So it's best when Luke attacks with this card, because Luke is a sidekick that's moderately useful. He's better in the late game, but oftentimes it doesn't get that far. Despite his card draw, you don't end up getting super deep into your deck sometimes.
Sometimes. You can purposely do that to do that like Luke strat, which maybe sometimes you want to do. Phil's thing can be, or at least it especially was before, because Phil used to have 18 health and 3 move, but now he only has 14 health and 2 move. But his thing used to be he can throw himself in any situation, any danger, and be fine, because he can just like fill his hand back up or fill his deck back up, and it was pretty fun. But now it's now not so much as you can just empty your deck and then continue going, like, because that was the strategy before, but that's not so much there now.
Yeah,
But
you have to be.
you could still go for that maybe.
You gotta be a bit more cautious, I would think.
Yeah.
But you can kind of treat Phil like an annoying sidekick. Meaning you just kind of use him to go like constantly like flick the opponent, like keep attacking
Yeah.
them, and because he has a lot more options than like one of our most famous, or at least like I consider one of our most famous pesky sidekicks being Gray Stripe from Firestar's deck. Gray Stripe is a perfect example because he's got ambush and wily fighting, which is just really good to have on a sidekick. So with Firestar is dead, his sidekick is still useful and does a bunch of stuff. And because he's a sidekick, you don't care if he lives or dies. You could just kind of have him go flick the opponent constantly with wily fighting and ambush. Anyway, it's also really I actually really find it's best to deal 1 damage to yourself because you end up getting 2 health on a friendly fighter, meaning you can like keep going, and your fighters are less likely to die, and it's trading 1 health for 2. That's a pretty good deal, I would say. The next card is called Final Throw. It's a 1-copy, 4-value attack card, fill only, with a boost value of 1. After combat, if you won the combat, recover 1 health, and you may draw the bottom card of your deck. It's a 4-value attack card, it's likely to win. It's a 1-copy, so it triggers your ability, and drawing the bottom card of your deck is kind of quirky. But
Yeah.
um, I mean, if you feel like a card that's important is stuck there, that's nice. It enters play, and it normally wouldn't have, which can be quite handy, and it gives you more card draw. Of course, you do have to win the combat, but it's a 4-value attack. It's likely to win. Um, that's really all I gotta say about it. Pretty solid. Next card. This is my favorite card for Luke. It's a 3-copy card. It's called Convincing Manny. It's a 3-value versatile, Luke only, 2 boost value. Immediately, cancel all effects on the opponent's card. After combat, you may move any friendly fighter up to 3 spaces. This is good for getting teammates out of precarious situations or pushing a front line. It's also good on offense, weirdly enough, because you're going to stop them from using that pesky defense effect, and you're going to be able to either move Luke out of the way, move Luke into an annoying position, or put your team in a better position to punish. Um, it's also good on defense to keep Luke alive, but I just like to use it on offense. Um,
Yeah.
it's
Because
pretty funny.
we do have good defense card effects sometimes, like Bloody Mary's one card, for an example.
Yeah, broken glass is funny. Um, yeah, and um, I completely. Because it's a 3, they kind of have to respect whatever Luke throws out, because 3 is kind of at that stage where you want to defend. Um, yeah. Bewilderment is the next card.
The art is amazing.
Yes.